Okay. Come on, adjust. So, here we are in a different location. We are with a very important wine for me, and I think I'm going to use this to start. I've been wondering what to do with wines because every time I put a wine video with the bicycles and the Defender, I usually lose some viewers and my stats go down. But I gain some other viewers, and quite frankly, I don't care. I think this is an experiment for me. I'm really enjoying it, and I love wine, and I think it's important to get wine out there. However, I've decided to do something a little bit different and try and promote the wines that I drink via a different medium, via Facebook first, and see what happens, because I've been on a few wine pages and they leave a lot to be desired, let's just say. I mean, there's some interesting stuff going on, but there's some weird stuff going on. And what I want to do with this series, and I'm starting with this wine because it is the first wine I had when I was a young whippersnapper in Spain, is Tondonia. Tondonia is just, it is the first wine. Fortunately, the first wine I ever had, bear in mind I am a little older than probably a lot of you. Yeah, it was a 1982 Tondonia. We did not know back then, it must have been in the 90s, that, it was in the 90s, that 82 was going to be so amazing. But this is a 2002 Tondonia. This is the first of a few of Tondonias I'm going to bring you, because Tondonia does some amazing things. Not only does it do this incredible red, but it also does a white, which is for people who don't like white wines like myself. I don't not like white wines, but they're not my first choice. The Tondonia do Gravonia and another white, which we will bring you and even taste side by side. But we're starting with a 2002, which is no particular amazing year. It's just that we had to have it. It's a nice old wine, and let's get to it. It is. I'm going to pour this very carefully. Now, as you can see, I don't know if you can pick this up. This is already a little bit. This needs drinking, I think, is the nice way to put it. See if we can get this in focus. See if I can somehow show you the colour of this wine. It really does need drinking. So let's get and vivino it and see what the vivination says. If that is a word, I don't know. Apologies if I've just said something really silly. Even the label's stunning. So this is a 4 in Vivino, and it is an 80% match for me. They've not quite got there, have they? This is a 100% match for me. They've guessed it's a 2002. It says you can buy it for £30. I mean, honestly, just get out there and buy this wine now. We are in the last few days of 2021. If you want to get out there and celebrate 2022, this is coming up to 20 years old. If we go by the 2002 to 22, perfect time to have it. So it is the usual profile of an old Rioja. It is bold, tannic and acidic, very dry, and people have been very uninventive. Now the descriptions are the same, but we'll work through them. Now this wine, I've had a few of these. In England, there's a few wine merchants got some old ones of these, and they were undrinkable. And by that I mean they'd gone orange and acidic. And we may have the misfortune of getting some of those, or just the learning process of getting some of those. But this one isn't quite there yet. But when I did hold it over a white background, you can see its halo is now the best part of a centimetre rather than a few millimetres. And it's very amber. It is on the edge, but it's still a stonking wine. I mean, this is a wine that you can really absolutely enjoy. Oak, vanilla and tobacco. It's almost the ashtray. This is like opening a cigar case smell of tobacco. It's second-hand tobacco. And I say that just because, this wine is past, it needs drinking. But they're all there. Leather, earthy smoke, definitely. These are recent tastings, so you know the fruit is quite far down. And yes, they've got as the third and fourth flavours all the fruits that you would expect. So there's cherry, red fruit, strawberry, plum, blackberry, dark fruit. It's all there. Look at this cork. It is beautiful. I'm going to do a close-up of this. It is just... Yep, it is a wonderful wine. We're going to pour a little bit more because this will have pozos of this age. I'll try and pour some and see if I can get the colour of it being poured. It's very hard to pick those kind of things up, but it deserves it. Pepper, licorice, cinnamon, definitely. It's very cinnamony, I would say. The kind of, and by that I mean, you know, cinnamon's kind of a dry, whereas licorice I associate with chewing a licorice root and getting that punch of flavour. And pepper, when it's dry, it's dead, but cinnamon still seems to live on. Even, it's like there's probably not a nice way of saying it, but it's like the cockroach of spices. After a nuclear fallout, the only spice that will still preserve its flavour is probably a stick of cinnamon will still be there, reparting its cinnamon bits. Unlike vanilla, which had just evaporated. Prune, raisin and dried fruit, absolutely. This is an old raisin. It's an old prune of a wine. But God, is it lovely. I mean, it's a bit delicate now. So you probably, you can just drink this on its own. It's not up to fighting a big plate of food, but it's up to enjoying. I had it with some light food, some picoteo, as the Spanish call. A light dinner with lots of different things, and it held up admirably. And this went after a lovely Alberdi, which is coming up soon. Oh, wonderful wine. But I really have enjoyed this wine. There's 191 mentions of yeasty notes, cream cheese and oil. They are out there in their droves. But before this, there was toast, almond, nutty, definitely. Orange, citrus and orange peel. Yep, it is like eating the bits of a panettone. You've that kind of candied fruit in there. And someone's apple, peach and apricots. Yes, as those, it is just getting over the edge, and some of those fruit flavors that would have been bold red fruits are now the kind of orangey fruits, and the lighter colors. Tomato, grass and hay. And whilst I'm on the fruits, tropical mango, pineapple. Some of these fruits is a bit like, those coffees that have got that funky, fruity acidity. You can see this is getting more acidic than it should be as it's getting older, and it's got these wonderful sort of tropical fruit flavors coming out where there would have been these other kind of more bold fruits. And I love the tomato, grass and hay. It's definitely, there's those vegetal notes are still there because this is a wonderful classic Rioja. It is. I couldn't think of a better wine to start this little series that builds on another series than a Tondonia. We're starting with a 2002. I will try and get as many of these years as possible and slide them in there because, Viña Tondonia, it's incredible. It really is. If you need to celebrate this Christmas and get yourself a celebratory wine, I saw the 2009 white and red in Fortnum and Mason, as you do, wandering around. I have seen it in many places. It's not hard to get hold of, as it should not be. And if you can taste, we will do a white and a red side by side. I'll probably do this soon. And I'm going to try, now I'm in Spain, it will be a lot easier to get hold of more years of Tondonia. So I will see what I can do. But for now, enjoy wines without too much of a fuss. Just get in there. If you want to put some popcorn in a glass, if you want to get some hay, if you want to try it with whatever you want to try it with, just get out there and enjoy a wine for what it is, because there's a lot of snobbery and a lot of stupidity in wine, and there just doesn't have to be, because it is such an enjoyable, wonderful thing to have, and it shouldn't be spoiled by silly concepts of how it should be and shouldn't be drunk. Yeah, Tondonia. I'd love to get a hold of an 82 Tondonia. Do you think there's any of them still around? Let me know. Anyway, so I'll let you know a little anecdote. I was with one of the biggest food critics in the UK, who was a friend of a friend, and the guy who used to be, or probably still is, in charge of buying Spanish wines for Berry Brothers and Rudd. He did a blind tasting of various wines, and I managed to guess that it was an 82 or an 81 or an 83 Tondonia, because it was like that ratatouille moment, you know, when the critic is taken back to his mother's ratatouille. Literally, I could remember the very first wine I ever drank, and I had drunk a few 82s since then and seen how amazingly they had aged, and this had all of those aspects, but it wasn't quite up there, so I knew it was an 81 or an 83, and I knocked Giles Corran and Dimitri's socks off. I then didn't guess anything else, apart from obviously the Pedro Jimenez, but it was a 1929 Pedro Jimenez, and nobody got even close to being a 1929. Who knew that a Pedro Jimenez could, obviously, I mean, when you think about it, no sugar, that amount of sugar, it will age well. But anyway, I shall leave you with that little nugget of information and slight, minuscule claim to fame. And yeah, get yourself some Tondonias in your life. If you like wine and you like Rioja, it will enrich your life quite somewhat. And with that, I will finally say bye and see you in the next one. This wine.